Good.
A perfect snapshot to illustrate history in the making.
I do think it looks rather nice, if I do say so myself. Kia ora, team. Welcome back. I've done a few things off camera since you have been away, and we'll just go over a couple of those things. In the first instance, I think what I'm going to do is turn this music volume down a little bit more because it's quite loud. So what I have done is I have managed to upgrade my warehouses. So there's a little bit more storage available, and there's a couple of other things we'll talk about. So there's one over there, and there's one over there, and there's one over there, and there is now one over there. Now then, these piers. So you remember that we were talking about fishing, and I was saying, what if we put the fishing with the fishing area over where there was actually fish? And I have done that, or I did do that. These fish, I think, tend to swim backwards and in there, or at least did, and there were fish here and there were fish there. They are not there. So, and I had a look, and the if you click on it, you can have a look at the processing time, the current process, the base productivity, etc., and perfect productivity. That's no different. That's no different here, no different here, no different here, and it was no different to the fisheries pier that was there. So I think these animations are purely cosmetic, and they are not related to the productivity of the fisheries at all. The lumberjacks was an interesting one. So as you recall, this was over here, and I built around it. And what happened was, when I had built around it, was that this cultivation area, this went down to 0 and said I had nowhere to cultivate. So they weren't producing anything. So I've moved them further out, and you can see that there's this blue, almost a Minecraft type circle all around it, which conforms to the grid. That came back up to 100%, and they now seem to be producing well. I haven't done it with this one, so sorry, that's the sawmill. Here we are. So yeah, so here you see available area 61%. Now that's not quite in keeping with what I would call the area of the square. In fact, I would say it's probably the other way around, and it's probably more like 41%. But you'll see that the problem then is that when I look at that, it's reduced productivity at 61%. So what can we do? Well, we can move it. So what we can do is we can select the tools menu, which is L2, and over here with the hand we have the move it tool, and if we select the move it tool and we select that, we can move it further out. Now, oh, that's the sawmill. We don't want to move the sawmill. We want to move this. So we move this further out. Now we see that square, and let's move it out to there. All right. Now we're going to have to obviously connect that with the road. The warehouse is down here, so it's probably easier for it to travel to the warehouse directly that way. And I will connect that bit of road, if I may, there. But it also wants to go to the sawmill, which we can move that too. Why not? Now we can move the sawmill down to, say, there, which is, let's turn it around, which is right next to the warehouse. So we can put that there. So we've now got this wood, which is now showing back up to productivity, is now up at 92. If we click over here, you can see the available area is 100%, and it is now ticking along tickety-boo. So that's those things sorted. Over here, we added some more sheep. I wasn't really getting enough wool So I added some sheep. I think it turns out you can add the sheep paddocks, and I did, but I didn't add them contiguously. So I put one over here because I didn't want to encroach further out there. I want to keep this all together, and it wouldn't let me build on the base of the mountain. So that seemed to be fine. And if we go over here, we can see that it's running away at 104%, and that's not a problem. And this is the other sheep farm here, and it is also running away at 104%. We'll talk about that in a minute. Because I need to get this functioning, which I have. This was the sail makers, and they weren't functioning because I wasn't giving them enough wool, but they're finally up and running. And if we have a look at our stocks, we now have 3 sails in stock. If we have a look down here at the sails, so doesn't tell us how many are in stock. The stage just says so down the corner. So there we're at 4. So we now know that we can give him his sails and he can frank off. Yes, thank you very much. How about you go away? So we've now got sails underway. Right, so what else did we do? So we put those things in. No, I haven't. I wonder if that means I can go and have a little wander around. I haven't actually used my boat to explore. Look, there's things out here. Anyway, we'll get into that later. Let's focus. So, the focus is that we wanted to balance our productivity, and I had a look at how we balance that in here. So, when we look at, for example, let's talk about needs. What do our people need? Because we want to keep them happy. Happiness means production. One of the things that they need is more sausages. We have an ample supply of market. We have an ample supply of fish. We have an ample supply of clothes. We're going to need bread. We're going to need sausages. Soap is currently locked, and I think that schooling is currently locked. That's workers. Farmers are a little bit simpler. Farmers only want market, fish, and clothes. So all of our farmers are happy. Ta-da! They're all just marvelously happy people. Our workers are less than happy people because there are some needs that we have not met yet. To that end, what I have done down here is I went through all of these individual elements that we have that I feel are quite basic. So, for example, one of the things we were looking at, say, was bricks. Now, you open this menu, which has a couple of options here at the top. It says set minimum stock. There's a thing there that's locked. I don't know why it's locked. And we have maintain stock at, sell when above, buy when under. Now, perhaps this is locked and will unlock later. We'll certainly have a look at that. But I found that by messing about with these, I always end up in the same situation, is that I can't individually tailor these to say, set minimum stock at 50, sell when above 60, for example, because it always seems to end up going to the same place for some strange reason best known to itself. So I don't know how it's arrived at 54 because that's not where I had set it. But if I were to say move that down to 50 and say maintain stock at 50, come out, come back in again. See, the minimum stock seems to be locked. It's got a padlock on it, which suggests that I can't set that as yet. But I do have these options apparently, and according to the menus, what happens is when I change this is that we will trade. So the I believe the blue is selling. Am I right? Buy one under 60. We're way over. So the blue is selling. The red is buying. Blue and red is a mixture of buying and selling. I'm not quite sure how that works. And And that's how we're balancing our stocks, and that's how we're trading, and that's how we're ostensibly trying to make money. We're still hemorrhaging money a little bit. I haven't quite managed to balance that out, but there's things still to be built. So bearing in mind we started at 75,000, we're down 35,000 already, and we still haven't balanced things out. In terms of productivity then, there is also something else that we can do. If you...
On our toes, master.
Yes, I do. If you click on your productivity buildings, you can press square and you'll see the working conditions. Now, if you increase the amount of percentage that they work, they obviously get less and less happy. I did have that up at 6. It's now at 5. I mean, we have a lot of fish, but the intention is to sell fish. So let's drop it to 3. And then that means that they're a little bit happier. Our productivity is 103. We still have some excess fish that we can sell and all the rest of it. Now then, the thing is, this is not individually selectable. This is whole project or whole product chain. So I selected that productivity on this fish farm. This fish farm is exactly the same now. 3%. It was 6%, same as that one. It's now down to 3. So all of these production chains are linked, which is interesting and not great, but basically that seems to be how this functions, is the production chains are linked. Same with timber. So if we go to the timber production chain, we go here. If we were to increase this, let's show you. So this is 0. This is the other one. 0. I'm going to increase this. We don't really need an awful lot more wood, but let's say we increase it to 3. There you go, increase to 3. So it increases every production element, not just this one. So this ties in keeping with this notion that these are not individual units. Aesthetically, they are individual units, but they are actually production units. So same with warehouses, obviously. Each warehouse is connected. So what goes into the warehouse over here as wool is automatically purchasable from the warehouse over here as wool. So if we were to put a spinners over here, the spinners would connect to this warehouse to get the wool. They wouldn't have to go all the way over here to get wool from this warehouse. So this is part of the magic of the game, right? So it's the same with this warehouse. So put this warehouse over here for the clay pit, obviously. And if we are they? Ooh, I've got you guys working a lot. So let's take them down to 2, because again, we probably don't need so many bricks. And this is a production chain. What are they working at? They're just working at 0, which means they're also working at 0. So if you want to increase production for your whole production chain, and you might have production units all over the island, you only have to do it in one place. So presumably that happiness spreads all the way through and everything else. And they've also said in the quick tips of the game, so it makes absolutely no difference if I go and put a clay pit there with a warehouse.
Keeps the oil lit when work's waned your wick.
Thank you. I don't know if I need to connect it with the road. I think I do. So yeah, so clay pit, warehouse, and a road would be sufficient to have this operated. It doesn't matter how far away it is, everything else, then that all goes in there. It just becomes a matter of maintenance costs, and that's where we go with that. So that was just a little quick tip on production chains. We've obviously got this potato production chain here, which they're all tickety-boo about, which is making a schnapps. And the schnapps situation is such that I think we're now at 0, but I haven't found that to be a required need. So there you go. Mr. Blake is buying and selling stuff at what we're calling ditchwater. So there you go, and we've got all these things that potentially could be upgraded to workers, but why would I want to do that? I mean, I have an awful lot of people and I have an overabundance of farmers. We could effectively kill the population if we wanted, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to check the pub. Seems to be running well. I don't know why it's just costing me money. It's just not super happy. So that is that. That is where we are. That is some of the things we've learned about production change and things. There's some production chains and needs that we obviously need to fill in. And we will get onto that at some point. One of the things that I find with games like this is to obviously be careful that you don't end up being sidetracked too much or running away too much with various bits and pieces. So before we do anything else, we have a couple of needs that we need to talk about filling.
No less than we deserve.
Thank you. And that's sausages. So let's have a look. What do we need for the sausage chain? That's a worker chain. So it's over here. So what have we got? Well, we got pigs. Right? So we got our pigs over here. Piggy wiggies. And we're making lots of piggies. Not a problem. But that's the framework knitters. We don't actually have a sausage plant that I recall. Schnapps, potatoes, framework knitters. So we made pigs, but we didn't make anywhere to process the pigs. This is the farming area, so it would probably be nice if we could make the pigs in this area somewhere. So I think what we'll do is we will go back to the farmers and we'll take this road up here and down the back here. And that will connect whatever is here to the warehouse, one hopes. We'll go back to our workers and we'll have a look. There'll be a slaughterhouse. So let's put the slaughterhouse next to the pigs because that's just what pigs will love, right? So now we have that. If we select that, the yellow line, you can see that this cart is now moving along this yellow line. This yellow line tells you where this is going to go to get the product. So this delivers the product to there. This is drawing the product from there and bringing it there. So if you want to manage your supply chains, you want to do things like that, what you probably want to do is you want to keep your primary production and your storage and your manufacturing in close proximity to each other, because then that shortens the length of time that this guy is going. I mean, he is not exactly going fast, albeit I'm on slow time because I don't want time to run away with me while I'm explaining to you what I'm trying to do and everything else. So we now have that. Their processing time is 1 minute and 6, saying that there's not enough people because they need some more workers. Well, okay, well that's fine. Look here. These farmers which live nearby, I mean, it doesn't matter. They don't need to live nearby. It's purely aesthetic. Let's promote them. See, now we only need 10 more. So let's promote these again. This will promote 10 workers. There you go. Now we're balanced with workers. So we are now balanced with workers. They are now saying missing goods. Well, that's because this guy is going slow, but eventually he'll get back there and do what he wants. Pigs. So their processing time is 58 minutes. So there's a difference between 58 and...
We lack the requisite materials.
I get you. 1 minute. So his time has come down a little bit, which is interesting. Probably because he's now fully staffed or something. So it's more or less a balance. 58, 1 minute. There's 2 seconds in it. So every minute they are producing pigs and putting the pigs there, and every minute they are taking pigs and producing sausages and putting the sausages back there. And that's how you balance. You probably remember that from the earlier episode where we have the clay pits, where they said a clay pit has a processing time of 23. This has a production time of 1 minute. So this takes 1 minute. This takes 23. So in the time this takes to process what it would get from here, this is done 46 and a bit. Actually, nearly 3. So it's processed nearly 3 times. So we could, in theory, add in a third, and that would help increase more bricks and reduce our clay storage. If bricks were a little bit more, had a little bit more value. So if we went over here and we had a look, What's the value of clay? The value of clay selling price is 4. Value of bricks selling price is 20. So if we want to make more money, turn clay into bricks, makes sense. You've got more manufacturing. There is more cost associated with that. I don't know how it ties out, but I'm sure the game probably has it sorted. But it's the kind of thing we just need to keep an eye on. Right, so let's have a look. Wheat, bread is what they need. That's what they need. So we've got the sausages sorted. It will take some time for this to come up. And like I said, because we're on slow time, I think that's the guy coming back. Yep. So he's bringing 6 pigs back to these guys, and then they'll eventually get working. So what we also need is wheat. So there we go, bread. Let's have a look at bread. So what does bread need? Bread needs, we need a grain farm, we need a flour mill, and we need a bakery. So we've now gone from 2-step production to 3-step production. So we know that we want to put our farms up and around here. So we'll put our grain farm, we'll probably put it here. I wouldn't mind getting another potato farm over here somewhere. So I might put the grain farm here for now. Now what we need to do is we need to have a look at what field size we need. So this allows us to create the fields, and you can click and drag. So if we clicked all the way out, oh, it requires adjacency. So this one requires adjacency to the building. Would that count? So there's a gap there. There is. So I'm trying to fill this gap. Oh, and it looks nice. So I could fill that gap. I understand we're losing some wood. But that's okay, because we have plenty of wood. I like the fact that it fills in the hill. I think that looks good. And then we have this. I can fill this probably up to... How far does that go? Oh, it goes up to there. Excellent. Right, so we've got that. So we've got the grain farm in. Let's get a road in so that this guy is connected, and we'll come around this side and down, and that'll connect him in there. He's now connected to the road. He's now connected to the warehouse. So we now have grain. Now, as we've said before, it doesn't matter where we put the production factor. So let's have a look. What does a flour mill look like? Oh, it's pretty small. Oh, and it's a windmill. Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, I like that. That's such a nice aesthetic. That's such a nice aesthetic. And oh, look, it would fit right in there between those things, and it doesn't look entirely out of place. I don't think. Oh, wrong menu. Sorry about that. Yeah. Oh, I think it's a lovely little aesthetic. So we'll put that right there. And then that's in keeping with this whole farming area that we've got working up against this little area that I was going to say out in this promontory, which is great. So what does this guy produce? Processing time a minute. Okay. Processing time 30 seconds. Okay, well that's interesting then, because this actually is processing twice as fast as that is processing. But that's a big thing. So we could, in theory, put in another grain farm somewhere. I'm kind of... This is all good, really good wood that I don't want to necessarily destroy. And if I'm beginning to think if I go any further out here, I'm not exactly sure how far the distance is to be too far removed from the warehouse. We'll work that out at some point. But I suppose where else would we put a grain farm? You know what would be nice around here? Because we've got this weird bit and we've already got a road. So let's get another grain farm. And should we set him back from the road like a farm would be? We can set him back from the road so he's like there, see? And what we can do is we can take his fields And I think... No, thank you. Can we come over here? That's the fields that we have. Thank you. Right. So I think what we can do is we can maybe, you know, like the fields abut the road, like real fields would look, and we can abut that road there, and we can, let's see how far we can take it back. Oh well, that's good. That's all right. It's still not all of the fields that I want to create though. Oh no, I've reached my module limit. Oh, all right. That's fine. That's fine. And this could be his little farm track, which comes out here and comes out here and maybe comes down there. Right. Now then, what is this saying? No warehouse in range. Well, that's not true. There's a warehouse right here.
Peddlers say there's nowhere to take it.
Why not? That's an interesting one. Because, oh, have I not been able... No, the road connects. So, well, that's interesting. So why is he not connecting to that warehouse when that warehouse doesn't seem to me any further distant? What if I were to move that here? Has that changed? Ah, now then. So now well, that's interesting. So that's actually quite close. It wasn't happy there, but it was happy there. In which case, for aesthetic purposes, I don't think it costs me any money to move stuff. Oh, I could put that there. Right, and I have my warehouse over there. I can move that guy over here. And then it seems a little bit like we've got something going on, right? So everybody's still happy. Everything's still doing. He is taking a minute to produce, which is interesting. And he is taking a minute to produce. And they are taking 30 seconds to produce. So we have balanced that out into the making of bread. And when things get moving along, this guy can stop complaining. You can see now that we've got the sausage production line working. We're all good. We'll get the bread production supply working, and we'll see all about that. My finances, I still haven't quite managed to balance my finances. Seem to be spending a lot of money on production buildings, and we seem to be spending a bit on our warehouses, which is not good. I'm not quite sure how we make much more money, but there we go. Right, well, we'll keep an eye on that, because we're still... Yeah, we're still hemorrhaging a little bit. I wonder if it's time that we thought about, you know, what do we need to cull to try and make some more money. I also wanted to have a look at this, because we obviously had to look at this ship. And I think we need, well, we said there was stuff here. What is this? So, yeah, so we need to select our ship. And then we get the icon to pick up, which is square. And he's going to head out here and pick that up. Isn't he? He sure is. I can't remember now how to... Oh, yeah, here we are. See that there's other stuff all the way over there, people coming and going. Right, well, let's speed things up a little bit. Not exactly sure what that was, but we're going to pick it up anyway.
Saved.
Oh,
Do you also then save us from a grievous injustice?
nothing else around my coastline that I can go and deal with,
Edvard's charges against us are pure fabrication. The
which
man's
is
an
fine,
imposter.
so we'll go back there. Really? I am sure that he is.
There's Edvard's seal.
Yes, okay. I'm sure it does.
Think about sheltering Samuel's co-conspirators. Deliver them to prison at once, and I might lift your debt.
Oh, I see. Threats, threats,
He's clearly up to no good.
threats.
However much we despise Uncle Edvard, it's criminal to go opening
Ooh.
his private correspondence.
Do we cross a line? Do we not cross a line? Ooh, decisions, decisions. What we got to open the sealed document on your ship. Wait for it with the debt to get your shipping license, etc., etc., etc. Oh, there it is. A sealed document. Should you open a private correspondence? Should you throw it overboard? Let's open it. The heck with it. Thank you. I see.
It cannot be. These names are those father trusted most. Barristers, doctors, academics.
Oh, he's a dirty scoundrel, is he?
Even I am astonished he could be this corrupt. We must put their cases before the highest authority and hope for a retrial.
We simply must.
He certainly knows how to silence his critics.
He certainly does. Well, bring Edvard's political prisoners to Sir Archibald Blake. Yes, let's do that then. Sir Archibald Blake lives over here. He's part of the crown, don't you know? That's where we're going to go, and I think that's how you target it. Is that right? And then after this, we need to go back and talk about port something. I'm still very concerned that we're hemorrhaging money. Although it seems to come and go. It's very interesting.
What is it you are bringing? Did he really? Oh dear. Best leave these poor people with me. I will tell Edvard that the debt between you is quite settled.
Oh, how very kind.
That was none of your business. And what right has the Crown to meddle in my accounts? What right?
Ah.
We are, all of us, quite moved by your selfless actions. Your father would be proud.
I am so relieved our legitimacy is no longer in question.
I too, dear sister. I too. Right.
Hurry. I already smell the tar. See, the masts are swaying from Father's study.
Yes, yes, yes. Quite. Right. So, here we are, back at home. Let's check on a few things. Needs first. Bakery! We forgot to build the bakery. Of course we did. One bakery. That would like to be somewhere near the market, maybe. Bakery down by the seafront? That seems like a darn good idea, wouldn't you say?
I like the bottle. It's the boss.
1 minute. Right. So we forgot to get that underway, so we got that to sort out. What about sausages? We'll consider that need met. So we've got all of our needs met, bar that, which will sort itself out in a minute. So we got this port. We can build a shipyard. Trade, fight, explore the world. We can build a sailing shipyard. We can build a depot. Right? We can build the harbor masters, and we can build some defenses. So is this, am I to understand that this marks some kind of harbor wall? Let me just see what this looks like. So we could, oh, I see that. Well, that is interesting. So we could do that, which creates some interesting shapes. It does. That begins to make this look a little bit more like the real world now that you've got that wall and things in place, which is pretty good. So that being the case, what else could we build here now that we have built that? Does that look a bit weird to you? That looks a bit weird to me. Could we not? We can't. I don't like it. I'd have to say, as an aesthetic, I don't like it. What does this look like? That's those kinds of things, which I kind of like there because I think it fits in with this whole aesthetic here. I'm not a fan, but I obviously
city's historic first shipyard.
need to build
we
it.
must document this moment in our first edition.
Must we? So I wonder if I can neaten it up by... won't let me run that wall out. Interesting. Yeah, it'll let me run a wall alongside to about there. I kind of think that looks aesthetically pleasing, and maybe that. Don't think I need that. So this is a depot which has hit points. My gosh, this is a constructed ship. So I'm guessing we'll probably have to construct a ship at some point, but possibly not now because we're still. My gosh, are we hemorrhaging money? Right. Photograph the sailing shipyard. Take a photo. I think that looks good, doesn't it? Submit. I think it looks very good.
A perfect snapshot to illustrate history in the making.
I do think it looks rather nice, if I do say so myself. Oh. Chapter 2. Dun dun dun. Things are about to get testy, I expect. Right, we need to start saving money. So, what do we not need?
So you build ships like your father. Well, the
Don't need
queen
that.
is in the direst need of ships.
Is she?
Supporting her will go some way to healing the wounds of the past.
That appears to be getting rid of trees.
A commission for the royal fleet, and in such quantity. A rare honor indeed.
A rare piece of rarity. Absolutely.
The weaponry they ask for presents a problem. I'm not even sure we have an iron load, do we?
Right, where else can we theoretically save money? Because we are producing a lot. I don't think we need all of these. It was an experiment. I wanted to see if there was a difference, and it seems that there is not. And that we don't actually need
Are those mountains?
all of that. Oh, not connected to a road. How? No connection to harbor. Oh, well, I'm terribly sorry. I was under the impression that you were. There we go. How about that? That makes things a little bit easier. Thank you. Let's see, let's directly over a warehouse. Yes, can't upgrade any of those. Or that, or those, or this, or them, or they. Any of that. Can update those, which is fine. Right, so that's now we're still, in terms of balance, we are... Oh, we've got new buildings unlocked. We are okay, but I think we have still an awful lot of people that we possibly do not need. And do we need to get rid of people's houses? It's never a good idea to get rid of population. But what are we expending money on that we possibly... Do we need... While it is efficient to have 2 brick pits running, what does our statistics say about our storage? No, I need to go up. Bricks. We're not exactly swimming in bricks. What are we swimming in? We've been swimming in fish, we've been swimming in wood. Well, I got rid of some of those things. And we're not really swimming in anything else, to be honest. So, I'm not super sure how we make more money here. What happens if I upgrade one of these? Did that just change? Let's do that again. Interesting. So by promoting these, I'm making more money. So we definitely... so we have an excess. So higher level people are worth more money to you. We have an excess of farmers. So we could, in theory, just increase the workers. Because I don't think we need any farmers now. We can also, which I said in one of my other episodes, we can downgrade a building. I thought we could. So we have definitely increased our income and we are now making money. Well, there you go. That's interesting. So now that we're making money, we can go back to deciding what to do in terms of needs. And one of the things that our people need is soap. Right, so I'm happy with everything else, but what we need is soap. So let's have a look at our production menu for soap. So they take pig tallow to the rendering works and they make soap. So rendering works stink. I mean, I know that for an absolute fact. But the piggy wiggies are over there. And why don't we put the rendering works? Won't fit in any of those, but it will fit in back there from an aesthetic point of view. So put that there. And when we have the appropriate level of resources, we will be able to do something about that. You know, one of the things I haven't done is I haven't upgraded any of my roads, and my assumption is that it really honestly doesn't matter. But I wonder if it's one of those sneaky things where it's actually quicker and things move around faster. So what are we missing here? Oh, we're missing steel. I see. So now we need steel, which means let's forget that, because I can't make it without steel. So that was a blueprint, which doesn't matter anyway. I see my income has gone back down again. Why will my income not remain settled? It's now hemorrhaging again. What is it hemorrhaging, and why is it hemorrhaging? Steel. What do we need? We need an iron mine, and we need a charcoal kiln. A charcoal kiln needs coal. Or makes coal? See, it's messing with, you see how you can see how it messes with that production if I put them too close together? I could put it over here. Wouldn't mess with anybody. Hello.
Hope it's not gruel today.
Oh, it looks like that hasn't quite connected. It must be around here. Is that right? Let's go all the way around. Right, well it is connected. Select an iron deposit. Can I select that one?
I see the iron is beyond our reach. We have no choice but to find a way through the mountain.
Aha!
Still have a few sticks of dynamite. We can blow our way through.
Yes, we can. There we go.
Perhaps not refined enough for your sister, but at least your workers can start their dig.
Yes. Right, okay. Ah, I see. I get it. Well, that's fine. As it happens, I have already put a road there. So I can do that, and straight lines are key, but maybe not straight that way. This one? You didn't really connect there, did you? There's gonna want a warehouse though, which is that's not what I wanted. So you did not connect. Stop doing that. I would like that road at these menus. They've never managed to sort this out with the controllers. I have done that. Right, thank you very much. Now, he's still saying no warehouse. So again, I have to build a flippin' warehouse. And it costs me money every time I build one of these things. Which is a proper nuisance, it is. So, what do they want now? What is this? Missing goods? Yeah, that's because he's going to pick up the goods from the warehouse and they're going to deliver them to you. We are sufficiently making money that I feel marginally slightly happier about that. So we're on to phase 1. Right, and that's where I think we'll leave it for now for this episode. So, my gosh, haven't we come a long way? I mean, Haven't we? So we've trimmed down things to some essentials that we need. We've balanced our trade. We've balanced our population. We've balanced our budget. So we're actually now making money. We have, I think, now balanced our production change as much as we can. We've got bread coming in. We're working on. Oh, I got a little glitch going on there. We've oh, doesn't like that in the slightest. Best stop it. We have balanced some of our production chains. We've had a look at some trade stuff, and I'm not really sure exactly how well that is working. It's loading speed, damage. That's how much damage my post does. It's how healthy it is. It's its storage capacity, but it's not actually storing anything. So I'm not Thanks. I'm not really sure if this trade is balancing out. I mean, it's the volume is.
What are you both doing? Demolition is a serious matter wanting proper expertise.
Thank you. I'm not really sure if this is working
Father
or
used
not
Mr.
working.
Ticker on account
So
of his good sense. Go on. I suggest you find him in Bright Sands.
thank you. We've got a port, which is ready to go. We haven't built anything yet because I don't want to until we absolutely have to, because it's going to cost us money. And as you can see, we were up, we're now down. So it seems to go up and it seems to go down, which is very interesting. We've got our wood, doing our wood business, which I think is fine. We've got our houses. We have got some more grain, which is nice. I like the way it does that. We've got this grain mill, windmill, which is just fabulous. I just love it. And we're obviously working on this over here amongst other things. So we move on to steel, and you can see we've dropped population of farmers again. So we're running out of farmers. That's because they're involved in that work over there. We could add in a farmer's house, but I'll do that again next time. Anyway, that's it for now. You're a team, and see you all again soon. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to comment, and look forward to it next time. See you then. Ta-ta.
PlayStation